very quick with the next video. So this system is same spec as the previous video, the Elitedesk 800G1 tower, same CPU, SSD, hard drive, but the only difference is it's got an XFX RX550 graphics card rather than the 560, so it's tier down. Again, it was running a bit hot in some of the tests, so I've applied a default cooling fan curve in the AMD software, which is quite easy to do. So what I'll do is I'll run a few benchmarks and report back with the results. Just a single pass of Valley without OBS Studio running, getting a score of 1482, which as expected is a downshift from the RX560 score. I'll put the percentage difference in the description of this video. And looking at superposition, final score 2449, again downshift, not unexpected. So what I'll do is I'll run the same games as I did for the 560 video and report back with the results. So looking at Doom Eternal on the low prefix, we're getting mid-40s on this opening area. I mean, it's not the most busiest, but it's a well optimised game, and I suppose as long as you get above 30 on this sort of system, then I think this is more than playable. So we're hitting late 30s, early 40s. I don't think you'll get much more than that. Mid 40s I noticed. So that's Doom Eternal. So I've run Cyberpunk benchmark on the low preset, and we're getting an average of 18.5 FPS. Minimum is 11, maximum 26. So this game's really not going to be that playable unless you can adjust some of those settings, which were still set to medium despite me setting the low prefix. And there may be a few flags you can switch off, but I very much doubt this game's going to be playable on this system with those sort of results. So that's Cyberpunk. So I've run the benchmarking Forza 4, selecting the low prefix, and the target was 60 frames per second, and it achieved 54 frames per second. So I would say this game is playable on the low prefix. You may, if you want to see better graphics, just nudge up to medium, but on this size monitor again I probably couldn't tell the difference between low and medium. Okay, so that's Forza 4. Now on Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I selected the high preset, and I'll run a benchmark and report back on the results. So after running the benchmark on the high preset, get an average score of 20 FPS, which I will say that's not going to be that playable. So what I'll do is I'll drop that preset down to medium, run the benchmark again and report back. So after dropping the preset to medium, run the benchmark again, average of 23 frames per second. Again, it's not going to be playable with those with that frame rate. So what I'll do is I'll drop it down to low and rerun the benchmark. A little bit better. I'd say you really want to aim for 30 frames per second minimal. It's 29, maximum of 44, and minimum of 23. So in some areas you are going to see considerable frame drops, but if you can live with that, then try it out. It's obviously going to hopefully play the games prior to this, as this is the latest game in the series, so it's the most taxed on the system. So that's Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So just to finish off, I've got similar spec Elitedesk to the previous video, only it's got an XFX RX550 graphics card in it. Run the same benchmarks and reported on results. So there's one or two games that aren't going to be that playable unless you drop the settings right down to low. Cyberpunk definitely won't be playable even on the low prefix setting. So I'd give that game a swerve if you've got this system. So if you've got any questions or if you want me to benchmark any other games, just drop me a comment. Thanks for watching.